Hello, so I wanted to do a video reviewing different various AI scribes that are currently in use. The reasoning being that, well, there are a lot of different AI scribes that people use nowadays. Um, I looked at the study looking at essentially a study by the Women's College Hospital that looked at the burden of the administrative burden decreased when using an AI scribe, and it was pretty significant. So, there's so many different ones out there. Various different people recommend different ones, and I wanted to try a few for myself to see which ones were good. And somebody on Reddit actually tried all the scribes already, so they have a ranking. You can check this post out, but I couldn't find anything on YouTube really describing the different AI scribes. And so I took a bit of time to kind of try out some of them. Now, there's so many different ones that I only really picked four to try out based on recommendations of different people and ones that I had commonly heard of being useful. So what I did to evaluate the different AI scribes. So the ones that I took a look at were Heidi, it's four of them, Heidi, Tali, Vero, and Scribeberry. And what I did was I recorded and scripted four different encounters, four different types of clinic encounters, and I fed those into the various different AI scribes. So essentially, I did a visit for like a couple of very simple visits, so medication refills, back pain, one with fatigue that was a bit more complicated. And then I also added a non-English language to see how the various AI scribes would handle that as well. And so I recorded the audio for these four encounters and then fed them into the different AI scribe softwares. And I also imported my own templates into these AI scribes. And so, in terms of what I was looking for in an AI scribe, I was looking for something well, I still, I guess, am looking for something that integrates well with the templates that I have. Um, and it's something that where you can just put in a template and it's easy to use. Good UI. I mean, I'm not the most tech savvy person, so it's kind of important for it to be easy to use, for it to be accurate as well in simple and complicated encounters. Something that where I don't have to make a significant amount of corrections. And of course, critical errors are important as well. If it doesn't mention pertinent positives or negatives, that would be a pretty uh, poor thing. And then the other thing is I wanted a scribe that was able to filter out unnecessary information. So I actually put into the medication refill encounter, the the clinician would talk about his daughter's wedding, and ideally the AI scribe would identify that as unnecessary information and filter that out. So anyways, going through the scribes that I took a look at, the first one I took a look at was Heidi. I mean, I feel that a lot of people have tried Heidi, and certainly I've gotten some recommendations for use of Heidi. The good thing about Heidi is there is a free version. So, uh, you don't actually have to pay money for it. Of course, there's probably more features, but if you just want like a simple like a simple AI scribe, you don't want to put too much like money or work into it, and you just want to use it. I mean, Heidi's probably fine for you. Um, so overall thoughts on Heidi. I tried the free version. The so yeah. Anyways, the language I added was Chinese. It wasn't bad actually. Like the translated version. I'll just show you. Oh, let me scroll down actually. So this is if you look here, this is the encounter for. So I created a hypertension encounter, and it was all spoken in Chinese. And this is basically what Heidi came up with, which is pretty good. Um, I talked about uh, like things that could have transient blood pressure elevation, which he talked about. Um, Anyways, it wasn't bad. And then obviously like permanent negatives as well. And then I found Heidi actually very easy to use. You just click the button, and then it just starts scribing for you. I didn't think it was actually very easy to use. It didn't filter out, as you can see here, it didn't filter out the daughter's weeding in the medication refill encounter. So, that's a bit of a con. I have heard that Heidi is better if you import templates in it. This was not. This was prior to me importing like a regular soap note. With a regular soap note, I think it is actually better. So it probably requires a bit more work in terms of like importing templates. But they also have a dial, a slider where you can slide between various different levels of detail, which I think is pretty helpful. But overall, I would say it was pretty Heidi was pretty easy to use. I mean, it does the job. It's pretty good. If you want a free one to try, I don't think Heidi's bad. Um, and then oh, sorry. So the thing that I didn't mention previously was that uh, basically I just fed the audio into these scribes, right? So of course there's probably going to be like something that I didn't really assess is uh, more practical use. I mean, I think the reason why I don't really want to assess that is because to use it in clinic would take a lot more time, to be honest, right? So but it would probably be more accurate, right? Because, probably like some of these, like for example, if the app doesn't work well or if the integration with the EMR isn't great, that's something to consider as well. But I didn't really look into that, to be honest, in this one. I just looked into how well it would take my audio encounters. So yeah, Heidi pretty good overall. The next one is you can kind of see these. So what I did was I kind of imported into text some of the um, notes that Heidi generated. This is based on some of my templates as well. But you can kind of tell the blood pressure one's pretty good. The one with the daughter's wedding was not filtered out. Um, and then so next I looked at Tali, which you can kind of see their payment plan. I did a free trial of Tali. Overall, t- I don't know. I think Tali was not as easy. It was still easy to use. It wasn't as easy to use as Heidi, but kind of the ease of integration of the templates wasn't as good as well. It didn't miss anything major, but I just found that the notes that came out with Tali were not like, for example, the going back to like I imported this template, no smoking, no chest pain, like pertinent negatives. But how Tally did it was they kind of did a bit of a list, and then there would also be weird words. So for the same fatigue encounter, there would be like, the patient was talking about how his wife was unsupportive, and there's just a note of unsupportive wife, which is not really how I would probably document that in a note. The patient is fearful of being like potentially homeless and being divorced in the encounter as well, but it's not necessarily like it is their subjective, but um, it would probably be more like patient fears, like divorce, even if I were to put that there. Anyways, some of the as you can see, some of the note, like it's not an ideal way to like present it, is what I found that Tally came up with. So uh, it's one of those things where I would probably, everyone's different, but I would probably go back and correct a lot of these things, which would not make this ideal for me to use, right? You can tell that the daughter's wedding occurring a week ago is also still in the encounter as well. So it didn't filter out information that wasn't relevant either. The translation wasn't bad as well in terms of tally, and then you can kind of see everything's there, but it's just not the way I would put it as well, right? Where possible elevated blood pressure doesn't really I don't know why I would say possible, right? I think like a more medical, like you would maybe do like question mark elevated blood pressure or like query elevated blood pressure. The possible is not how I would document this. So you would have to go back and change it. So yeah, so yeah, Tally, to be honest, not really. I just find these small things, right? It just didn't really do it for me. Um, so the next one is Vero. So Vero, as you can see, there's a free trial as well, so that's what I used. Um, you can kind of see the good thing about it is it did filter out the daughter's wedding in the transcription. So that's a positive. You can kind of see the fatigue encounter. I mean, pretty much everything is there. Um, and I think it frames it a bit better, like in comparison to Tally, right? Moods not described as depressed, no anhedonia. It talks about psychosocial social stressors, right? Which is a better way of putting it than, divorced wife, things like that. Um, you can tell that the translation is actually pretty good as well, uh, I guess, yeah, it does say possible hypertension, elevated blood pressure. Um, but honestly, these apps, like their translation from Chinese to English was pretty good. I didn't test other languages, so I guess we'll see. Um, and yeah, so I guess for Vero Scribe, I actually found it very easy to use as well. You don't even need to do. I think I did toggle languages actually, but if it filters out things, it kind of puts all the pertinent information. It's very easy to pick up and use. Um, so I mean, it was good. Veroscribe was pretty good. And so next, I wanted to try Scribeberry, but unfortunately, it didn't work great on my laptop. Like basically what happened was whenever I clicked on, there's a new scribe button that you can click on for new scribe encounters. But the button didn't work for me, which was a bit annoying because then I had to like message their chat function and troubleshoot with them. It still doesn't work, but you can kind of do a go. I could kind of do a go around where I clicked on like the right hand side and then go through a form. You can anyways, it's not great, right? So unfortunately, I feel like I'm probably not able to evaluate Scribe very well based on that. And then I think it's like more of a personal preference thing as well, where I like for my templates to be entered in, and then for the AI scribe to base it on my templates. But for Scribeberry, you can create your templates, but it's not like you don't import it directly. It's more like you tell Scribeberry to make a template based on what you want. So I think that's more of a personal preference thing. But anyways, yeah, because of this, I feel like I'm not really able to uh, evaluate Scribe very well. But yeah, anyways, based on this, I'm probably just gonna try Vero Scribe. So that's kind of that's kind of like my experience with different AI scribes. And but there's so many different ones out there, right? There's a lot of ones that I didn't try as well. Um, I guess if any of you have any feedback or any thoughts on all of this, that might be helpful as well. Okay.